Also, we saw that whenever we are breathing in, we are usually taking in the air that is rich in oxygen, and we already know that the air in atmosphere is a mixture of gases which has various percentages of your air that are different gases. That is, when we are talking about your oxygen, we know that the air that we are taking in has 21% oxygen and 0.04% of carbon dioxide, right? So now what we are going to talk about is what do we breathe out, right? Up till now we are already we have been concerned about how much oxygen we are taking in, why do we take in so much oxygen, what amount of oxygen is needed when we are doing any high energy level activity. Now what we are going to talk about is what we are breathing out. To understand this, we are going to perform a simple activity. First of all, what we are going to do is, or what we are going to need is a straw. Then we need a test tube. And what we need is lime water. So lime water, as you know, student, is calcium hydroxide plus water. So it's not lime, the lime is the calcium hydroxide and water. So that's why it is called as the lime water. And then we have the cork which we will use to close the test tube with, right? Why do we do that? So that the experiment or the activity that we are doing is not affected by any kind of external factor. In this cork, we are going to put a small hole through which we are going to insert the straw. Now, as you can see in this picture, what happens is that we have taken lime water in the test tube, right? And we put the straw through the test tube in such a way that it is completely dipped inside the lime water. Now, be very careful, student. What we are doing is exhaling, right? So, we are breathing out. So, what you are going to do, you are going to take the other hand in your mouth and you are going to exhale. When you are going to, that means blow into the straw. When you do that, you will see that the lime water, which was transparent, has turned milky. Now, you already know that which component of the atmosphere turns the lime water milky. It is CO2. This experiment indicates that the air that we are breathing out contains carbon dioxide, right? So when we are blowing it gently, the lime water turns milky because of the presence of CO2, right? Now, the question that remains is that the air that we are taking in is rich in oxygen and the air that we are breathing out has more percentage of carbon dioxide. The question is how much more and what else is released while taking in CO2, while releasing out CO2. Now, if you take a mirror and you breathe out, when you breathe out on the mirror, you see that there is a little moisture on the mirror. There is a film of moisture that is formed on the mirror along with the release of CO2. Why this happens is because the air that we are exhaling contains a little moisture. And that is why we are able to see this film of moisture on the mirror. Now, there is the question again that what do we breathe out? So first of all, when we are inhaling, we are inhaling the natural air that is present around us, right? So in that we know that the oxygen content is 21%. And the carbon dioxide content is 0.04%. So as you can see that the oxygen is more as compared to carbon dioxide, it's much less. And when we are exhaling, how much we are, what percentage of gases that we are giving out? The oxygen we are giving out is 16.4%, right? 16.4%. Now you can see that it is reduced from 21%. And apart from that, the carbon dioxide that we are exhaling out is 4.4%. So here also you can see how much more carbon dioxide that we are exhaling. Over here it was only 0.04%, whereas the exhalation is for 4.4. So the increase is manyfold. That means the increase the increase in the percentage is too much for CO2. And also over here, if you observe that the amount of oxygen has decreased. Why? Because some of the amount of oxygen is being utilized by the body, right? So in this way we see that exhaled has less oxygen when compared to the inhaled air. Also it has more carbon dioxide when compared to the inhaled air. Apart from this, water vapor, that is moisture, is also released when you are exhaling, right? Now let's understand and answer this one question. You must have also observed that if you exhale on a mirror, a film of moisture appears on its surface. From where do these droplets come? So these droplets come from the exhaled air, because the exhaled air contains small moisture or a little bit of water vapor, right? And when it touches the cold surface of the mirror, it condenses to form this moisture that we can see on the surface of the air. This is more visible when we are breathing out in cold air. What happens is that when it is cold and we are breathing out, the warm air from our body comes out along with the water vapor, and this is what we see as fog. Right? You must have seen that when we are breathing in the winter, when we are exhaling out, usually it comes out and looks like smoke. Right? The reason is that the air that we are breathing out is warmer as compared to the air that is around our environment, or the temperature of the air around us. Right? It is usually a phenomena which we observe during the winters. Right? Now, there is another very important thing that we should know, that it is very important for us to perform certain breathing activities. The reason for that is that there is a certain capacity of lung. Now when I say capacity of lung, that means that how much air the lung can hold at one time. Usually it is very important for us to have a good capacity of lung. The reason is so that we are able to breathe properly and we are able to take more and more of oxygen. Naturally, we can increase the amount or the capacity of air holding capacity of the lung by simple exercise known as the pranayama. This is a breathing activity or breathing exercise that one should do daily to increase the amount of or increase the capacity of the lungs to hold the air inside them, right? And when there is increase in capacity, what will happen? The lung will be able to take more oxygen. And when you are able to take more oxygen, what more oxygen is associated is more energy, right? So in this way we are able to increase our capacity of the lung by performing the the exercise called as the pranayama, which is a breathing activity, right? Now Bujo wants to know how much air a person can hold in the lungs. So to answer the question, the lungs that a person can hold is 0.5 liters. Right? So this is the amount that a person can hold in the lung, and by performing the pranayama regularly, this amount can increase also. Right? So in this way we see how the lung helps in obtaining, or how the lung can increase their capacity if we perform the activities or breathing exercises on daily basis, right? So in this session we saw that what do we breathe out.